Hi everyone, it's Lalitaa here. Today I really want to hone in and focus on self-worth and not feeling good enough and how that comes across and impacts on all our relationships. And that's not just relationships romantically, it's also relationships with co-workers, with family, relationships with food, with drink, with money. There's so many different relationships that we hold, and the relationship that we hold with ourselves determines a lot of these relationships. So for example, if you constantly worried about what other people might think of you because you don't feel good enough or you don't feel worthy, you don't feel important within yourself, what will happen is that will come out in other relationships. Say if you are in a relationship and your partner's asking, oh, what are you going to do on the weekend? And you're like, yeah, I don't mind. But deep down, you do mind. Deep down, there is a part of you that wants to do something. But because you're afraid of your partner not wanting to spend time with you, or even your partner saying, oh, why do you want to do that for? And there's a fear of rejection, there's a fear of abandonment, there's a fear of not feeling good enough for this person. So what we can do is we can go along with what we think other people want us to be. If we are, for example, like a yellow color, and what we then notice is that we present to other people as being like this blue color, which is, I better just fit into what this person wants me to be, because deep down there's a part of you that feels like, well, if I don't get accepted, then they might reject me, or they may not want to hang around with me, they may not want to be with me in a relationship. So these thoughts can be going on, and these thoughts may not be conscious. They may be at a subconscious level, and you may not be consciously thinking, oh my God, I better do this because they're not going to love me, they're not going to want to be with me. But it might be happening because it's a pattern of behavior that you've developed over time, is that I need to please others. And where does this actually stem from? This stems from that relationship that we hold with ourselves, and it's how we see ourselves. And how we see ourselves is how we then show up in the world around us. So if you, for example, don't feel like you're good enough, don't feel like you're worthy, if you struggle with self-esteem and self-worth and believe that you're not good enough, and notice yourself comparing yourself with other people, putting other people on this pedestal up there and putting yourself down here, what's going to happen is you're going to make sure that everyone else is on this pedestal, and you need to please everyone else because you feel like, I need to give them what they need because I don't want to be alone, I don't want to feel rejected. And often if you don't meet their needs, you can feel quite anxious and feel quite low within yourself. So there's a part of you that's always striving to try and give people what they want. And it's a similar situation even with friends or family members, where you may want to speak out. So say if friends are talking about a topic, or they want to do something on the weekend, and you want to be part of this conversation, but there's a fear of, if I say this, I might get shut down, or if I say this, they might laugh, or they might find out what I'm really like. So you stay quiet, or you don't speak out because there's a fear. There's a fear of not being accepted. And that not being accepted comes from the belief of, I'm not good enough for this group. I'm not good enough for these individuals. So what happens is, what you'll notice is that you keep feeding into what you think that they need from you. So you become what you think they want from you. Within that, what can happen is, what about your needs? What about what you want? What about you speaking out? You become this because there's a deeper need within you, which is, I need to feel good enough. I need to feel worthy. And that's why this becomes, I need to give them what they need. But what you'll notice is, as you grow and develop in your self-awareness, and as you develop your self-worth and self-esteem, that no longer will click in that way. Instead, it will become an equal, where you're able to share, because you no longer have this fear of what's going to happen, because you know that you're good enough. You believe within yourself. You're content within yourself. And when you are content within yourself and have that inner peace and know that you're good enough, it's knowing that, okay, I can speak out, and if this person isn't happy with what I've said, I can talk to them. I can explain to them my perspective. So this is you communicating. And by communicating, initially we need to communicate with ourselves. We need to be able to identify what's going on within you before you can communicate to someone else what's going on for you. And having that space to do that, and managing this self-worth, managing this self-esteem within you, is so powerful, because it changes all your relationships, but it also means that you show up the way that you are, rather than trying to fit into what you think you need to be around other people. And that it impacts again on being an effective communicator within the workplace. Because even in the workplace, you may feel, I better not speak out, I better not say anything because I'm afraid of what will people think of me, or how will people essentially judge me based on what I've just said. Now, when we look at not feeling good enough, what does that actually mean, the feeling of not feeling good enough? It means that you're not comfortable with yourself. It means that you're not accepting of yourself. So you're thinking that other people aren't going to be accepting of you. You're thinking and seeing other people that are going to see you as not being good enough, not being worthy. But the truth is, you are good enough. You weren't born with the belief that I'm not good enough. You weren't born with the belief that people aren't going to love me and accept me. That comes from previous experiences that you've been through. And that could be an experience where, for example, you're at school and you put your hand up to say something to the teacher, and you've said the wrong answer and people have laughed, or the teacher said, no, that's not the right answer. And the humiliation or the embarrassment that you may have felt at that time, the mind now is trying to protect you from not feeling that. So the mind now is trying to keep you safe. That's ultimately what's going on. And there's a function. There is a function to you feeling that I need to give other people what I think they need, because that function is, I feel good enough now. But this good enough is only temporary. So if we look at how self-worth impacts on our relationships around us, if we have a low self-worth, if we have a low self-esteem, it does impact on the ability of how we show up with everyone else around us, because we're then constantly, instead of focusing on what we need, we're focusing on what do I need to give to others in order to feel worthy. And as I said, you may not be conscious of this, but you may notice your behaviors in this way. And that's why it's so important for us to work on ourselves, work on our internal processes, work on our internal world, what's going on internally within us, what's going on to make us feel a certain way, to make us feel and think of ourselves in a certain way. Because if we can overcome this and manage this, we can then change the way that we show up in all the other relationships around us. And that changes your happiness, your joy, your success, the way that you want to be, meeting your goals. You're no longer living life for how you think other people want you to be. You're living life for you, on your terms and what you need, rather than focusing on I need to give to others. Because you've gone past the need of I need to feel accepted, I need to feel worthy. You've gone past that because you know you are worthy. You know you are good enough. You understand that. And now you're on another way forward where it's like, no, how about I'm now focusing on what is it that I actually want from this life? What is it that I actually want to do? Because you're no longer focused on I need to feel worthy, I need to feel good enough. You've grown from that. So this is why I say the impact of self-worth on our relationships. And it's not just relationships with romantic, it's with friends, with family, with co-workers, the way you show up as a leader, as a business owner, the way that you show up with the relationship that you have with money, with food, with drink, with every single relationship that we hold. It's so powerful to understand that from the relationship that we have with ourselves. So if you have any questions about this video or anything that we've spoken about, please feel free, share your comments below, and I will always get back to you. And have an amazing day, and I will speak to you all soon. Take care. Bye bye.